Welcome to the Fantasy Football Hub YouTube channel. Today I'm joined by FPL Salah to preview Game Week 36. Now we're recording this immediately after the culmination of the Chelsea-Tottenham game, so we're going to be giving you pretty much a live reaction to that, specifically talking about Chelsea and Tottenham assets. First of all, let's just get into the game week overall, Abdul. Off the back of that result, a pretty healthy green arrow up to 60k.
Yeah, so it was a good week, mainly due to Jackson and that Chelsea clean sheet that we just seen. So happy with that. It wasn't looking too great in the first half, but yeah, pulled it back in the second half. So I think I'm at a decent rank now. I can I think top 10k is I'm going to need a lot of luck for that, but I think top 25k is very well on the cards.
Yeah. Talk to the people about your wildcard overall, just your final decisions. Looks, to be fair, like a pretty solid wildcard that most people really went for. And what do you think about it going forward?
Yeah, I think it's good. I think it's kind of gone to plan. Well, almost. I mean, I think Ederson is a doubt, but
Yeah.
I'm glad I set the wild card up to like save the transfer. Like I didn't plan any transfers in because, as we know, like we've got Bruno who's a doubt now, and we've got Ederson who's a doubt as well. So even if one of them is out, I can still save my transfer, and that's what the plan is. And I've got like even if I've got a few problems because I've set it up for the bench boost in 37. I've still got 2 free transfers to set up for that, and the team is pretty well set up. So yeah, unless barring a huge disaster next week, I don't want to jinx it. I should be fine.
Right, let's get into the main talking point, and the reason why I wanted to record this episode with you after the Chelsea game. Obviously, doing this quite late, but wanted to get the result of that and see how, in particular, the likes of Jackson played. I think because it's very important in determining who you're going to be starting this week. You mentioned there, of course, the fact that there are some doubts with Bruno. And as we can see on screen, that has affected his predicted points. But if that flag was to go away, I mean, Ten Hag has said that he looks like he does pick up some injuries sometimes, but he always seems to play. Who is going to be on your bench? That is the tough question out of those front 8.
Yeah, so at the moment, just assuming Bruno's fit, I've got Gordon on the bench. I've had him on the bench, pretty much from the start of the week. I was always going to play Jackson in this fixture, not just because he scored, but I think West Ham they've got like they've conceded the 4th most goals, and they've got the 3rd worst XG, so they're really terrible at the back.
Really?
Okay. Yeah, they're quite bad in defence. So and with Nkunku not being on the bench this tonight, that just for me, like Jackson, he got 9 minutes again. I know he got subbed off, but he's going to keep getting 9 minutes, at number 9. So, and he gets chances. He almost scored at the start of the game as well. Good save from Vicario and clearance off the line. So he gets chances. So I'm happy to play Jackson. So right now I've got Gordon on the bench. But after that game, I'm probably more likely, if I'm going to bench somebody apart from Gordon, it's probably more likely to be Son. And again, this is assuming Bruno is fit. I just think I think it's really close between Bruno, Gordon, and Son. Right now, I'm still on Gordon, but I'm kind of hoping, Bruno makes that decision easier for me because I've just played the wild card and I've got a good all round squad. I think that would probably work as an advantage for me over non-wild carders who might not be in that position, and I know a lot of them have got like injuries in defence and stuff to deal with as well. Whereas I really don't have that many problems.
I've got to say, watching that game, I did have. I mean, you guys will probably know I'm a Chelsea fan, so I did kind of have like Chelsea tinted goggles on a little bit, glasses on. So I wasn't fully focusing on Son, but I mean, just having a look back through some group chats now, a lot of people were saying that, where was he in the whole of the first half? I was more focusing on Chelsea doing well in the first half. Obviously, Tottenham came into it a little bit in the second, but yeah, he didn't really seem to have any chances at all. I mean, I don't have the stats to hand. I'll get them up, but did he have any shots in the game of any note? I can't really remember.
No, not that I recall. I mean, he was. I mean, first half especially was really quiet. I mean, I think his last kind of non-penalty goal came against Luton in Game Week 30.
Wow.
He scored the penalty, against Arsenal last week. But yeah, I think it's more to kind of do with, we know now he's going to be in the left wing as well, right? Because Richarlison's back. I'm sure Richarlison's going to start the weekend. Came off at 63 minutes. He played against. He played the first game, the double as well. So I think he'll be back at number 9. And for me, that obviously from an FPL perspective, that really kind of reduces Son's appeal a bit. So that's why I'm kind of just thinking maybe I could risk it with Son. I mean, people will say Liverpool's defense has been bad, right? Which lately they've been quite poor, but they still got like the top 3 defense in the league, and that's not going to be an easy game for Spurs.
Yeah. And now, to be fair, it looks like Champions League is going to be extremely difficult. It would have been quite challenging anyway, but I mean, now they've got a game in hand, but I think they're something like 6, 7 points behind. Looking at the stats here, obviously this just happened, but 0.12 expected assists for Son and 0 shots, so no expected goal contributions at all, which is not great against a Chelsea team who's, people were laughing at the fact that managers were looking at Petrovic in goal because the defense has been so bad this season. I mean, I think this is actually the most goals we've conceded in a season I'm not entirely sure the number of years, but in a very long time.
I mean, I just think, I mean, to be fair, like don't take it away from Chelsea. That was a good performance from Chelsea, but at the same time, it was a bad performance from Spurs. And fair enough if Spurs had the next fixture was easy, but apart from Man City and Arsenal, it doesn't get much tougher than Liverpool. That's the 2 teams that are the tougher fixtures. With Liverpool are the 3rd hardest team in the league. When you're looking at defensive stats and goals conceded over the season, so it's not an easy fixture. But look, he's still okay. He'll be playing on the left. He's not as effective, FPL wise, but he still does have penalties. So that's always kind of in his favour, and we know what he's like as an FPL asset. He could just explode at any minute. So that it's a dilemma, but. Yeah, the performance hasn't been there lately.
All right, let's get to some other dilemmas in your team. First of all, in goal, I think before like tonight's game, I think most managers who were on the Ederson and Petrovic double up were probably thinking that Ederson might be fit now. Let's start him, and if he plays good, and if not, Petrovic will come in. Is there an argument now to just play Petrovic anyway? He got 9 points tonight, 11 in the double, pretty good, really. I know it's Ederson, but what do you think?
I mean, not for me, because if you look at the clean sheet odds, right, for this week, I mean, City are at 59% to keep a clean sheet, whereas Chelsea are 29%, which I was quite surprised at. But West Ham, they've got a poor defense, but they've been fine going forward. They can score goals. So the clean sheet for me, it's like almost double, Jack. So I mean, actually, it is double.
Yeah.
So I mean, for me, that's too big a gap. I'll be playing. I mean, if Ederson was out, like say if Ederson was out for the season, which we all kind of thought he was because he had the sling on leaving, and Pep Guardiola said didn't look good. If he was out, I would have just probably gone for Ortega this week, because I think that would have been worth the transfer because it saves money. And the clean sheet odds are, so big this week as well. So I would have probably made that move. But now I think it's an easy save for me. The plan was to save this week. If Ederson's out, even if Ederson and Bruno are both out, I'll probably still save the transfer, for this week. So yeah, for me, I think play Ederson. Hope for the best. It doesn't start. He's not going to come off the bench, so it's going to be a start or a miss out. So it's not a big deal. Petrovic is a good backup.
Yeah, you don't want to be selling those players given their fixture in 37 anyway. I think what would be cool is if we do have 2 frees going into 37 and no injuries, because then it gets interesting when you can sell doublers for doublers and really not go punty, but really push for players that you want to get in your team. Who knows? That might open up different pathways for different players that we're not currently thinking about. And then the last sort of dilemma in your team is whether to play Burn or Dallo in your 3rd defender slot.
Yeah, so I've got Burn there at the moment. I mean, I was surprised when I was looking at the odds and the stats. Palace are actually favourites to win that game, slight favourites. I know they're at home, but I still thought United would be favourites in that. And I think that's quite an even game. I mean, Eze is back, Olise is back. So I just think I don't think Newcastle or United, I don't predict anything to keep a clean sheet, but I think Newcastle probably got the better chance. And Burn does have goal threat as well, by the way. If you look at his XG, his XG is actually higher than Shar, which I noticed when I was wildcarding and looking at which defenders to buy. So he's got a goal threat.
I think that managers that went for Share over Burn have been very unlucky. Let's just talk about some players that did pick up injuries this week. Obviously, Ederson looks like he'll be back.
Hmm.
Cher and Van Hecke, players like that were on a
Yeah.
lot of are in a lot of wildcard teams that have now got injuries. What would you say to managers who have those players?
I mean, I think Van Heck's out for the season, so I mean, I guess a lot of managers will probably be benching him possibly this week anyway. So it's probably maybe one to deal with in 37. But look, Van Heck's got to go. Shar, I think, Eddie Howe. Oh, this is what Eddie Howe said. I think today was that it wasn't exactly a hamstring injury, but he felt it, so he took him off before. But I don't think we can take Eddie Howe's word for as gospel.
They
So
might as well have just said he's been shot. Like it doesn't matter. It's
yeah,
ridiculous.
so but I don't think it looks serious. So I mean, look, if he was going to be out for the season, I'm sure like he probably would have said he's going to be out for the season.
Yeah,
So I think with Shar, if you played your wild card, you can afford to bench Shar this week. I think if you're in a position where you haven't played your wild card, you've got Gusto, you've got Van Heck, you've got Shar
yeah.
there. Then possibly in that position you might have to make the move this week, to get like a decent playing 11 out. But otherwise, I think with Shar you definitely keep. Who else was it that was out?
Oh, I'm not. That's pretty much. I mean, Gusto is the one as
Gusto,
well
yeah.
that I forgot about.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's missed a couple of games. I think that I don't know. I mentioned it the other week. I was wrong. I thought he was out for the season. He's not. He's been like training in team training, but not full training. I don't know exactly what that means. Again, not in the squad this evening. So
Yeah, so I think he said at that, like the fan training, he could be back for West Ham, but if he wasn't even on the bench this week, then
yeah,
yeah, I think he's going to be a problem. And I think look, if he's not going to be fit for game week 36, and he's doubt, it's highly likely he's going to play 2 games in 37.
yeah. I
So
think
these
he's
are
a sell.
problems. And I think if you're going to be playing your bench push in 37, you have to make sure you've got
Mm.
players who are there who are like, solid picks. I don't think you can be going in with doubts when you're playing your bench boost. So yeah, I think a few managers will be taking hits over these next few weeks.
Yeah, I mean the Chelsea West Ham game is in what? I mean under 72 hours, right? I don't think he's going to suddenly come from being not involved in the squad
Yeah.
at all to then playing against West Ham. Yeah, it's 2 o'clock on Sunday. I mean that's just not much turnaround at all.
Yeah,
And
that's quite tight. Yeah.
yeah, I think if he's not on, and then what's tough then is if he's not in the squad against West Ham, then you hear some news that he might be back. Poch is like, oh yeah, he looks all right. Then you have a conundrum, which is obviously for next week, but whether you play him and then, I mean, how many minutes is he really going to get in
Yeah, I
those
mean,
two fixtures?
for me, I mean, if he's out for 36, I think he's got to go.
Yeah,
If you're on a bench boost, I mean, I guess if you're
yeah,
not on a bench boost, then you could possibly keep him, and you might have other bigger fires to put out. So it all depends on that as well. It's just about what priorities you have really now, from
sure.
now until the end of the season.
And let's round things off with captaincy. I do think that the captaincy is pretty. I mean, I think that Haaland is the best captain. So I'll ask you
Yeah.
instead: is there, if you're chasing in the mini leagues, is there any other potential captain you reckon you could go for to potentially gain ground, or do you think it's just not worth it this week?
No, I think now is the time, like if you're chasing mini leagues and if you're chasing a particular rank, then this is the time now to gamble because we've got 3 game weeks left. And I think I was looking at this earlier, and I think see when you're looking at a differential captain, I mean this week Haaland is going to be really highly owned, right?
Mm.
Highly captained. Probably I'd say maybe 180, 190 effective ownership. And you don't have to go completely rogue on your captains. Like you going for a Palmer or one of the Arsenal midfielders is kind of differential enough because although many people are going to own them, not many people are going to be captaining them when
Yeah,
Haaland's got Wolves at home. So even if Haaland just scores a goal 6 points or somehow blanks, and your player like even like a Palmer or one of your Arsenal mids hits it off, that's going to be a huge jump in your rank. So you don't have to go like totally off pace there with your captain. So I think Palmer, one of the or one of the Arsenal mids, are a great shout this week, and even Foden or KDB. Again, they'll be highly
yeah.
owned, but not highly captained.
I would love the KDB shout, just because he's got history against Wolves late in the season. And then I was playing in my mind with the 4 goals that he
The
scored or
four
whatever.
goals,
Just
yeah.
that obviously
Yeah.
that was in a double, but it was, I think, Wolves at home around this time of the season where he just seems to turn it on. I think if you've got De Bruyne and you're chasing, I think he's a good captain option. You're
Yeah,
right
no,
though. You're right because you think about it. Oh, is it really worth going for a captain on Palmer or Saka when everyone's got them anyway? yeah, as you've just said, if the difference in effective ownership between those two players, with captaincy included, is 80, 90%, that's a massive, massive swing if it goes in your favour.
Yeah. And it depends how far back you are as well. Like if you're chasing like, 60, 70 points, then yeah, you could go for, a Jackson. You could go for, I guess, like if you're looking like, to really kind of push. I think Salah might be a good shout this week. Like I don't think Salah will be very highly owned. If Salah starts, then that's a great fixture, Spurs at home. I mean, we don't know what the situation is
Yeah.
with him and Klopp, but I mean that kind of plays into that kind of differential hand, a lot everyone's just gonna avoid him. So, you know, um he could well hit it off. You never know.
Let's end things on your thoughts on Salah. I feel like maybe it's getting close to tribute time for that man, because a lot of people
Yeah.
after the row, after the spat, were and obviously going into Wildcard 35, we're thinking that might be the last time I ever own Mo Salah in FPL, and he's obviously been one of the best
Mm.
ever FPL assets. Your name is his. How do you feel about him?
Yeah, I mean, look, he's a Premier League legend. He's the best FPL asset we ever had. I love the guy, but I mean, I thought like he was definitely going to be going away this summer, but there's been talks of now him extending his
Mm,
contract. So if that happens, I'd be really happy because I've been trying to find a way to get Salah in Game Week 38, and even when like Ederson was injured, I thought that's perfect because I go for Ortega 3.7 million. That leaves me enough money in the bank to go for Salah. I can do like Bruno and Isaac out for Salah and a cheap,
oh,
for
nice, yeah,
in
and
Game Week
bench, yeah.
38. But without that, it's just so hard to bring him in without a hit. I mean, and especially when I can just get Saka in, who's probably
Mm.
just as good an option. So it is quite sad that I might not own him ever again in FPL. But I'm gonna try, uh, every chance, every opportunity to bring him in Game Week 38. If the chance is there, I'll go for it. I mean, if it's too like, if it's too, I'm gonna have to take a -4 or -8 when I've got a good option there. I probably won't do it, but if the chance is there, I'll do it for sure.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Let's leave it on that. Thank you very much, Abdul, for
Thank you.
your tips and advice. Looking towards a good end of the season, really. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if top 10K is achievable really now for both of us. Similar
Where are
sort
you
of
ranked?
rank. I'm 40K, so it's a few
Yeah, no,
a few too many bad swinging weeks really for me. I mean, I had a couple of very good weeks to be fair. It's sort of leveled out, but yeah.
yeah. I think you might need to take, I guess, one like kind of differential cap. If you want to go for the top 10K, maybe one differential captain. And if one of your other your differential like loan players kind of hits it off, then it's possible. But yeah, it's that time of the season now where
Yeah.
and I think a lot will depend on the bench boost. I think this game week, if you're not gambling on the captain, then the bench boost is going to be big. So I think by then you'll know whether you're able to get the top 10K or not.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we saw massive swings in the last double. So with 15 players, yeah,
Yeah.
who knows? It's definitely possible. But then I also think to myself, it's possible to finish outside the top 100K as well, which
Yeah, I mean, look, yeah,
you
exactly.
know,
Look, those swings can go either way.
yeah,
And that 34 swing was brutal for us guys. It was for,
it
for
was
me anyway.
terrible.
It was horrible.
Oh
But
well, thank you anyway, mate. And yeah, thanks guys for watching, and good luck this game week.